Hello! Hello, Internet. We are back. Greetings, travellers. Welcome back to the Short Rest Tavern, episode 4. I've put episode 3 there. It's episode 4. I will amend that momentum. I'm going to change it right now because it'll annoy me. There we go. Episode 4. Welcome back. We've got a couple of quick announcements, and then we are going to be jumping straight into part 1 of our new arc, Mazfroth's Mighty Digressions, based on the recent Wizards of the Coast publication, the Candlekeep Mysteries. So, a few bits and pieces first. As always, a few quick thank yous for people who help us out behind the scenes and help make everything possible. First one being to our designer who does all our overlays, animations, and makes everything look as wonderful as it does. Arubic Designs, who specializes in doing overlays and stream, Twitch UIs, Twitch overlays, camera feeds, all that sort of fun stuff. You can find them below in the partners section if you're interested in getting something done for your own channel. As always, a thank you to the players who not only play in this campaign but also help out behind the scenes, making sure everything runs smoothly. Things like social media, artwork, designs, ideas, admin, all sorts of wonderful stuff that helps keep things ticking over. It is massively appreciated, and it is definitely more than just me. So thank you to those who do everything that I don't, which is most of it, to be fair, because I too busy making up weird NPCs. So we are down a Deoni this evening. They'll be returning in the next week or so. So we are going to be running a slightly smaller party. So hopefully we can have the chat to make up for that with their input and their suggestions as we go into this new arc. We are going to be doing a giveaway as always. So on the break, we are going to be running our weekly giveaway, our Monday night giveaway, which is going to be through our friends at D&D Beyond. We will be giving away a digital copy of the Candlekeep Mysteries book for you to own, treasure, run your own campaigns, or steal bits and pieces and drop it into your own homebrew game, whatever it is you fancy doing with it. It's a fantastic book, has some really, really cool stuff in there, and it's very easy to drop into your normal campaigns, your homebrew campaigns. One of my favourites, we're running all 17 adventures, but like each individual one is very cool in its own right. Quick update on the schedule, and then we will get right into things. So, schedule-wise, if you are interested in seeing what we're up to, best way to do that is to give us a follow on here and on Facebook or Twitter, where all announcements go. Following on here helps us out massively. And
lost one.
We've just lost one. Okay. We'll sort that out when they pop back. Excuse the cameras for now. Yeah, our schedule, Monday night is our Candlekeep Mystery campaign. So every Monday at 7:30 UK time, we will continue on our Candlekeep Mysteries campaign with our giveaways from our support from D&D Beyond. On Fridays, you can find us over on Heavyweight Gaming, where we play Rime of the Frost Maiden with Heavy from Heavyweight Gaming. And then at the end of each of our arcs, you can join us on a Thursday. It's probably every 3 to 4 weeks, where we do Pull Up a Chair, which is our review show, where I sit down with a couple of members of the cast and we discuss the previous part of the campaign, review it, see what's what, get their views, recommendations, and we get to chat a little bit out of character and chat with the community a little bit for people who want to ask questions and see what we thought. So, that all said, just need to do some quick chopping and changing now just to make people in the right places. Yep. That's about right, I think. Nope. Yep. Yay! There we go. Nailed it. Okay, so a little bit of a recap for everyone. The party were finished up a mission for the Lord's Alliance, the conglomerate of lords across a few of the major cities across the Sword Coast. and they've worked for them for some time, the odd job, and the most recent one was to head to Candlekeep Candlekeep Fortress to track down a sage called Matreus, who was taking a bit of a leave of absence and doing some private study and was sorely needed back. And so they were tasked to find him, get him back on track and get him back in contact with the Lord's Alliance, which after a little sidetrack, after being briefly trapped in an interdimensional Mordenkainen's magical mansion spell, they found and saved Matreus after throwing him back through the portal and then just about getting him back out in time as the magics became unstable. They managed to have a little route through the mansion, brought some trinkets and some items of interest back with them, but ultimately were successful. That was about a week ago now. The party are enjoying a little bit of downtime. They have been able to experience some of the luxuries that Candlekeep has to offer. Their rooms with the inn are very much sort of exquisite, seemingly making use of Mordenkainen's magics to have this luxurious room in a space that shouldn't fit. You've been eating and dining and probably drinking in the Hearth, the tavern, which is amplified in its space inside with some technology that escapes you, making the interior much bigger and allowing for big grand evenings once everyone's finished work and study. You've all been kind of up to your own little thing over the last couple of weeks, or the last week or so, and kind of waiting. You've bumped into each other, sort of eating and dining together, but for the most part, getting on with bits of study, bits of research, and just making the best of the environment you find yourselves in, being in the Candlekeep library. You've all discovered over the last week that now that you've been granted entry to the courtyard area, at least through your donation of a book, you are referred to as seekers, as are anyone who donates a piece of knowledge, literature, or lore to the grander collection. You are now a seeker of Candlekeep, which gives you free pass in and out and allows you a couple of luxuries. One being of which you're able to take private study and either use a room in the Pillars of Pedagogy, or you can read outside if the weather's nice, in the Hearth, in the inn, wherever. And you can request a book is fetched from the deeper vaults of Candlekeep and brought and rented out to you and to loaned out to you for private study, which a few of you have taken full advantage of. I think all of you have been doing a little bit of reading, with the exception of Igraine, who's more of a practical approach to learning. So Deoni has spent the last week or so busying themselves with private study in the Pillars of Pedagogy, researching and pulling over texts. The few times you have seen her, she's been sternly speaking to some of the priests, the avowed, the purple-robed priests you have met previously, and they seem to be ferrying books back and forth from beyond the Emerald Door up to her private study room. And they've popped out for meal times and drinks, but then other than that, they've busied themselves. Mal, you struck up a little bit of a relationship with the barkeep, the tiefling, the white-skinned tiefling, who you now know to be called Arcthus, who goes by Ark to those familiar. And Ark has been showing you a few tricks of the mixology trade and a little bit of alchemy of a adult beverage variety. And a few mornings while the bar's been quiet, there's been, bit of work exchange for some tricks in preparing drinks and preparing bits and pieces, which then you've been taking that knowledge with you and working on being able to tinker and to create a magical device. Mm-hmm. You've been looking at trying to create an alchemical jar.
Yep.
So, before we move on to the rest of the party, what I need to roll from you is I need a couple of rolls to see how well that process has gone.
Yes.
So what I would like to have is an Arcana check from you, please.
I'm good at them. That's 17.
17. Okay. So yeah, well, between working with Ark and your own knowledge of alchemy mixed with magic and crafting, you're pretty happy. You over the course of the week, burying your nose in some text, you've got the gist of how to make one of these alchemical jars. But now we need to see how well the actual build goes. So for that, I'm going to need a intelligence check for me, please.
19.
19. So you guys, see Mal occasionally helping out behind the bar, getting a few flourishes in there, a few bottles over the head, catching, pouring, a little bit of flair going on, and then busying themselves. You hear, every now and again, sort of a soot-stained and tired Mal heading to and from places, fetching tools, fetching contraptions, and eventually, Mal, you do successfully, over the course of the week, produce a working alchemical jar.
Awesome.
Igraine, you spend most of your time outside, training, whether it's circuits, keeping the old physical conditioning up and keeping the gun sharp, or knocking the cobwebs off a little bit and getting familiar with the flail that you acquired in the mansion. Not a weapon you've used recently, so it takes a little bit of getting used to. A few bruised shins as it swings and catches you a few times, but for the most part, you kind of get the feel for it again and are pretty happy you could do some damage with it. And being out in the courtyard doing this gives you a chance to keep an eye on everyone else and making sure they stay out of trouble, or at least while they're in eyesight, at least. Irini, you bump into Mel quite a lot, as also working around the hearth. Using your culinary skills, you've opted to help out and do a little bit of work in the kitchen. Helping prepare some of the meals, sprucing up some of the dishes there, and learning some recipes that the Sword Coast has to offer. I would need from you, please, a performance check.
23.
23. Wonderful. So, not only do you become a quick-learned chef within the space, you almost become one of the team, and they're almost sad to see, that know that you're not going to be able to stay forever. And it's you develop quite a nice connection with the other people in the kitchen. You share some of your closely guarded Fey recipes and add some more exotic spices and some ingredient combinations that they've not thought of, but produce some fairly interesting results, including which perfecting the recipe of the fishbowl cocktail that you had on Mal's request, which is now waiting for a name, but the recipe is dialed in. There's a few exotic spices mixed in with fruit juices, and it's become almost a staple of the tavern. And you see a few of the regular patrons on their more Friday night affairs asking them, and you see more of them cropping up throughout the week. You've also picked up a few recipes yourself. Unfortunately, you don't come across the legendary spice in which you are looking for. That seems a little bit beyond the capabilities of the kitchen. But yeah, you do. You're pretty confident you've helped improve the overall quality of food here, and yeah, they will be sad to see you leave the kitchen for further adventuring.
On one of the days, I'd like a quick moment with Irini.
Okay. If you want to do that now before we move on to Sahar, that'd be great.
So, Irini, I've got an idea. Give me your cleaver.
It really hasn't had the best day. Someone sent her feedback and said that it was bad, so she wants to mad them at this point. And so Irini kind of has a meat cleaver in hand. She's like,
"You're gonna like it.
What are you gonna do?
You're gonna love it.
Is it an experiment?
I promise you will get it back every time."
She begrudgingly and very warily passes over her meat cleaver.
I take a cleaver, I spend a couple of minutes with it, and do a few quick things with it, and then I turn and I throw it at the wall.
Make a dexterity roll. Make a roll to hit. It's simple weapons. I'll say you're proficient.
It's simple.
I rolled a 19.
All right.
Whatever.
Were you aiming at anything in particular?
Just a wall. Just a space of wall where there's nobody there.
That's the important part. So yeah,
Yep.
you see Mal looking over the cleaver, then out of nowhere, with a surprising amount of grace, kind of from behind spins round, boing, sticks into the timber on one of the uprights across the side of the room.
And this arena, I'm going to hold my hand up, and the cleaver's going to fly back to my hand as I have infused it with the weapon of returning.
And it kind of wobbles and vibrates, and then flings off again. And kind of at this point, there's a few patrons who kind of see it stick in and kind of stood back, like start walking as it flies past their head again. And yes, Frizzin, you catch it swiftly in one hand.
Captain America style. Here you go.
Yeah, that is impressive. My meat cleaver now returns to you.
If you spend about an hour with it, just get to know it a bit better again, it will do it for you.
She takes a cleaver back and she... Okay. Thanks. We'll see how in handy this comes. And kind of sticks it back into a belt.
Okay.
Just going to lean forward to Mal and go, thank you.
And then
Came to me.
Sahar has been doing some research as well, burying themselves in books, in tombs, enjoying the outdoor weather more than Deoni's indoor study, and kind of often seen sort of picnic blanket out. There we go, out on the front of the court of air, burying themselves in books and going all about it and going about their bits and pieces, which is where we are going to pick up on present day. So it's early morning on a Saturday, where both Irini and Mal, you do not have any scheduled work in working for Ark, and Igraine, you are taking a well-deserved rest day, and the four of you are together at the courtyard in the court of air. While Sahar, you are waiting for one of your more recent requested books. You are looking, you have been looking, up on immortality, necromancy, old gods, and you have worked your way through 4 or 5 books. Sort of quite impressive considering how wordy and how heavy some of these are, but you've managed to work your way through them, and you're waiting for a new book. You've asked one of the Avowed to fetch it for you as per the rules here, and they have gone off to collect it and bring it for your possession for you to review and have a look and see what you can discern. You were recommended the book Mazfroth's Mighty Digressions, which is a book all around. You've been told it carries not necessarily evil gods, but more lords of the abyss, and how that has connections to magic and the weave, and how rumors around how Mazfroth had some thoughts around how the abyss was the source of lycanthropy, and around shapeshifters. You have very much brushed up on your mimic knowledge. You are now very, very well versed in the bells and whistles of mimics and how much of a pain they can be based on your unsightly interaction with one in the mansion. So you are well versed in the arts of mimic beating. And before too long, one of the Avowed in their purple robes heads over to you with a small linen wrap with a book about 9 inches tall, 7 inches wide. Comes over to you and kind of a little curt bow and Seeker Sahar, the book you requested, and hands it over. They take a step back and bow their head once more, and then scurry off back towards the large emerald door at the far west of the courtyard.
Look at before she even had a chance to bow back and look at the book.
Okay.
What did they bring me?
So you open the linen wrap and you see this very worn, heavily used leather bound book. Like I said, it's about 9 inches tall, about 7 inches wide. You have this blank front page. There's no title, there's no author on the actual book itself. You open the first page, and on the cover sheet you see Mazfroth's Mighty Digressions, by Mazfroth Gathir, written in cursive, black ink. Very much care put into this first page. It's very elegantly done. The calligraphy is wonderful. However, the rest of the book, the handwriting leaves a lot to be desired. It's quite messy and hasty. It's almost like they were thinking quicker they could write. And you quickly kind of thumb through a few of the pages, just kind of a bit of a brief. You do notice there's 151 pages, and they don't all match. Some of them are a little bit bigger, some of them are a little bit smaller, and that the book's stitching looks like it's been cut, replace, and like it's barely holding itself together. It looks like Mazfroth was probably quite eccentric and thought of new things to add in, and didn't have time to have the book properly reprinted, and just kept adding bits and taking bits out.
I'm gonna find a couple of places to sit and just start not thoroughly reading through the pages, but just flip page by page just to see visually if I notice any words, something that might spark my interest immediately. Put a little placeholder there.
Okay. So it's make a, let's say, an investigation check as you begin reading Mazfroth's Mighty Digressions.
15.
15.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of you watch as Sahar kind of props it up and starts thumbing through this absolute battered piece of literature. It seems to be a collection of eclectic essays, although not much kind of is revealed around the author themselves. Mazfroth's essays kind of go on long tangents, and that the topics in the book are many and varied, although it's clear that divinity, the denizens of the multiverse, nature of magic, and where the source of things come from is a reoccurring theme and interest of Mazfroth.
Does it say any of the sources? It's just like speculation.
Yeah, so there's a few things that you determine while you are thumbing through and reading the book. That Mazfroth states that all magic depends on the weave, an interface between magic users and raw magic, and that they believe it's governed by Mystra, the god of magic, and that arcane spellcasters can access the weave directly, whereas those who draw their power from a divine source are granted access through the deities, through the gods themselves. And that several years ago, that damage to the weave can have catastrophic consequences, and goes into a little bit of detail about a spell plague that affected the land a few years prior. It then goes on to some information around lycanthropy, and that some scholars believe the god of the hunt, Malar, is responsible for it, and imbuing people with animal characteristics. But Mazfroth disagrees, and argues that because not all lycanthropes are evil, Malar wouldn't be the source. For example, werebears are an example of good, typically good lycanthropes, and that they likely the cause of the trait comes from other sources. And then the final kind of few bits while you have the time to go through is that the Abyss is ruled by demon lords. Baphomet, Demogorgon, Graz, Jubilex, Orcus, and many others. And that Mazfroth ties the origins of a lot of monsters within the world, within the material plane, descend from these demons in one way or another. For example, all oozers originate from Jubilex. And yeah, you spend maybe, I would say, over the course of an hour, you kind of get that far. You don't read anything too detailed there, just a few passages you read. Yeah, it seems fairly interesting, if a little bit haphazard, and some of the handwriting's a bit of a nightmare to deal with. But you managed to make headway with it. During this hour, you three, is there anything you are doing? Or are you just enjoying the weather, enjoying the sunshine, or is there anything you would like to do?
I'm gonna go find that one place where they do like copies of a book, so I can get certain sections just copied, just for easier memory.
So, as you stand up, you let the party know that you're going to head to the printers to get some stuff copyright. As you kind of start packing away things, as you pick up the tome, it is heavier than it was a second ago. Suddenly, as you kind of casually lean over to pick it up with one hand, you kind of stumble and almost, you're not expecting it. It seems several times heavier than what it was a second ago.
I'll look around and see if anybody noticed that.
You will see kind of Sahar lean over to try and pick up a book and kind of fumble with it and kind of take a couple of steps.
Are you okay? I didn't do anything.
Oh no, you didn't. Huh. Maybe I'm just hungry. And she goes to try to pick it up with one hand again.
Okay. As you go to pick it up, you notice the book is almost bulbous, where previously it was square in nature. Both front and back of the leather seems to almost like a football, like an American football, as like kind of the leather is bowing and the book is becoming more spherical and larger.
Oh, when you drop
Do
the
we
book.
all notice this happening?
Make a perception check.
I will plop the book down and just take a step back from it and kind of motion for the party to just move back.
I don't see
7
anything.
Back.
Well, the perceptions, please.
17.
17. And Irini? 18. Mal, you're kind of got your back turned to this, so you don't really see this, but you see kind of Igraine and Irini's eyes kind of widen a little bit in a little bit of kind of a what? It looks a little bit of confusion. The colour starts fading from brown and starts becoming almost luminescent of this kind of sickly yellowy green as the book starts lifting off the ground slightly. And I need you all to roll initiative.
Here we go.
18.
Back off the mark as always.
I'm still oblivious.
Start as you mean to go on there, Mal.
Are there people around us in this area?
There's a few people, not in your immediate area. You've kind of taken this nice little sun trap in the corner. You see a few
Okay.
of the purple-robed avowed kind of scurrying back and forth with arms full of parchment and papers. You can see a lazy kind of guard looking over the way of the lion at the gatehouse. In fact, it's the same young attendant that Mal tricked previously. Traumatized. Yeah, it seems like a bit of a equivalent like a lazy Saturday morning, right? It's like
Yeah.
there's activity, but it's not as busy as the week.
I'm not currently in the purple. I'm off duty at the moment.
Yeah, Mal is now wearing their previous clothes, not the purple robe that they acquired. Just so you're aware, they are wearing their traditional. Your traditional robe's quite bright and colourful, if I remember rightly.
I have kind of orange, almost cargo pants that cover my armor a bit, and I have a bit of a reddish, purplish shirt that covers up my levers,
Excellent.
and a nice scarf,
Fading into
almost
the
like a
background
cravat.
Mal,
Yeah.
what was your initiative, please?
6.
6. Excellent. Sahar,
18.
that's better. Irini,
17.
strong. And
I
Igraine,
don't know why.
Also 6.
strong. A mixed bag, shall we say? Okay, so Sahar, you notice this book now has grown to around 3 foot in diameter. It's almost like ectoplasmic, slightly translucent, of this luminescent sphere of. It almost looks like see-through jelly. And there's a few traces of the kind of brown leather book exterior that are now fading as it reveals this form. And it's just hovering in place. And kind of... There's an unsettling feeling about it.
So a gelatinous book. Yeah, that's what he said.
You aren't sure what this creature is.
Can I... What would I roll to find out what the creature is? And
I would
can I
say
use-
you can make a
Yeah.
nature check should you want to.
Is that like part of like a bonus action?
I will say as a bonus action, you could have a pretty good. You could spend your bonus action in trying to work out or kind of rack your brains and see if you have any idea what this thing may be.
Yes, great. Can I do this with advantage?
I am just checking as we speak.
Fey fiends are undead. That'd be
No.
No, damn, drat. Well, either way, let's try it. Let's do an nature check and see what I get. Oh, not bad. 19.
19. Okay. You, based on your recent paranoia and researchings into creatures of shape changes, whether that be lycanthropes, mimics, or other creatures that have the ability to shift their form, you're pretty sure this creature isn't of this plane. It's probably an aberration of sorts, probably closely linked to a mimic, although you're pretty safe in assuming that it isn't in fact a mimic, but it's something of the similar ilk. It's not something you've known before, you're not quite sure its capabilities.
Fabulous. I'd like to attack now.
Okay. I will say for this, you're all about 10 feet away, as you all did say you're going to kind of take a step back. So we'll say for this, you're all not in melee with the entity, and you're all considered at range. Okay. So, Celine. Sorry. Oh, that's the first slip. Sahar.
Triggered.
That's the problem I have with Amy.
Wrong campaign. Wrong campaign.
No more S's for you, Anthony.
You had to mention her, didn't
yeah,
you?
okay. You pull out the elven designed, exotic looking, heavy, monstrous sized crossbow, level it towards this creature, fire the trigger.
Yes.
Fire the trigger, pull the trigger, fire the bolt. Roll to hit for me, please.
13.
13 will hit. Roll me some damager.
Wait. 5, 4, 9.
Oh god, the crossbow count has kicked up again. Oh, okay, how much damage? Sorry.
9.
9. As the bolt, it's very weird. The bolt hits it and kind of goes through, and it kind of pulls, like it's almost got like this stringy trail behind it as the bolt flies through the creature and then clatters onto the cobblestone some part in the distance. Would you like to move at all?
1 second. From my new stuff, the fire thingy. What the heck can I do with that again?
So, at the start or before you fire, you can say you're gonna. It's a bonus action to use that, so you'd have to use. Next round, you could use your bonus action to empower your weapon.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I am going to then. Well, I can't do much else except for.
You've got some movement, so you can move if you like. Move up to 30 feet away.
I will just stay as is. I'm fine.
Okay, you stay 10 feet away. You just thunk this huge heavy bolt, embeds into the creature, and it doesn't seem to. If it is capable of making a noise, it doesn't emit one. Irini, you see this now hovering ball of greenish yellowish light hovering in front of you.
Fun. How far is it from me?
10 feet.
I'd meekly with that bitch then, please.
It goes swizzling through the air.
Probably doesn't hit on a 10.
Unfortunately not, no.
Didn't think so.
The device and the modifications Mal's made, the first time you throw it, you realise it's made the handles a little bit heavier and it doesn't quite fly in the same way. You need to adjust for next time, but now you know.
Not only that, but it probably actually hasn't been an hour since I got given it, so I haven't actually had a chance to attune. So that's stuck now.
It has been an hour. You guys have been waiting for Sahar, and that happened like 2 days ago with you and Mal. So.
Oh, sick, even better.
And he goes sailing past. Okay.
Call it back, and I'm like, bit. Bonus action, I'm going to cast Bardic Inspiration onto Mal, please.
Okay, the notes through the air, the little jingle, and you feel the kind of fey power surging through you, and you can just feel a little bit more of a spring in your step. Okay. Awesome. At this point, the creature starts floating towards Irini, who's the last person to have made an offensive act. And you hear, you don't hear a voice, you kind of hear it in your head through this omnidirectional sound. You just hear this, need life, as you feel a surge of energy cascading through your body as this creature moves next to you. What's your AC? That's the wrong. What's your AC?
Can't hear you.
Can't hear
Depends,
you.
what did you roll?
That's not how this works.
11.
I rolled a 15.
Yeah.
Okay, so as this creature moves towards you, you see this kind of these few tendrils of this like yellow. It almost gives off light. It's not quite, but it gives off this soft glow about it. And this little tendril reaches out to you with surprising speed. It doesn't hit you hard, but the second it makes contact with you, you just feel this horrible surge in the middle of your chest. I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Can I actually ask whether this is a spell or a magical effect?
It is a magical effect.
Fantastic. In that case, then I get advantage against this.
Okay, Constitution saving throw then, please.
First is a 21. And second will be 13. So that'd be a 21 con save.
Okay. Yeah, you do, however, take 11 points in necrotic damage.
Okay.
As you feel your energy being pulled from you, and you suddenly feel very tired and lethargic, but you kind of shake that free, and the energy does return to you a little bit. But yeah, that stung like an absolute mother. And this creature is now hovering 5 feet, kind of in your grill. Mal. You see Irini kind of recoil back as you see this like pulse of green energy as she flinches and looks in pain.
I was watching him get wondering what I could do to him later, but I was like, oh fuck, what the hell is that? I haven't infused something today. It says I can infuse something after a long rest, and it's just a touch. Would that count as an action, bonus action, or is it just instant?
Let me have a look.
It doesn't give a time.
That's normally what you do, like you prep, isn't it?
Pretty much.
What are you planning on doing with it? Tell me what you're planning on doing with it, and I'll let you know.
I was going to take the infusion out of the jar, which really upset me because I was going to give everyone wine, and put it into my crossbow because I can only have 2 at a time.
I would say
have to do that.
I would say that's an action.
Action. Okie dokie. Right, I'll save that. And I will. Am I still within 10 feet of this thing?
You are, yes. All of you, with the exception of Irini, are at least 10 feet away. Irini's in melee with it.
Also, don't forget about your bardic inspiration that I gave you.
Yep, thank you. Bardic inspiration map. I guess I'm going to fire my crossbow at it then.
Okay. Crossbow comes out, fires through the air, roll to hit.
Big dice. That would be a 16.
16 hits, roll some damage.
Yes. I confused it, but no. That would be a 9 damage.
9 damage as, yet again, a crossbow bolt flies through the air, and similar before, it kind of punctures it's almost like hitting a balloon, but it doesn't pop, it just kind of goes in and then kind of pulls the membrane a little bit as it falls out the other side, and the crossbow bolt clatters to the floor, seemingly having an effect. You say 9 damage, sorry, Mal?
Didn't look 9 damage.
Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful.
That did not look good. I'm going to back up 20 feet.
Okay. You back up 20 feet, you're about 30 feet away from it now. Igraine.
Seeing what it did to Irini, I'm gonna stay where I am, but I'm gonna cast Guiding Bolt at it.
Okie dokie. Roll me the spell hit, I believe it is. Spell attack.
Unnatural 20, 14 plus 6.
That will hit.
Any?
Nice. So I've only got 3d6, so I'm going to roll one again. 8, 14, 20 points of radiant damage, and it has disadvantage on. Oh, the person that attacks it next has advantage.
Clerics, yo. Never leave home. Never leave home without one. Okay,
Well, do you
as
think
this,
Irene carries around one with her wherever she goes?
this just streak of radiant energy just goes flying out from the center of the hammer and just arcs across the courtyard, and everyone's like shielding their eyes a little bit as these creatures get smashed by it, and you see a lot of its form kind of just almost like burn away. Yeah, it doesn't look particularly well at all.
And then I'm going to move up to it and put myself almost in between Irene and the creature if I can, like stand right next to Irene
Sure.
and almost put my shield over her kind of thing, and just put myself in melee with this creature.
Okay, Sahar.
You've got advantage, Sahara, if you're...
I just thought it was either my headphones making weird sound or I hear something in the background. Like going back. I want to use my Crimson Right.
Crimson right. Okay, so
Say a prayer.
you kind of see. Roll me a 1d4, please.
Yeah, because last time I got a 4, I was like,
You want this one to be nice and low.
fuck a duck.
That 4.
4.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's what you want. So you see as this time as Sahar kind of readies the crossbow and pulls a new bolt in, there's like a wince of pain, and you can see that there's a little flash of kind of reddish energy, and you can see like a wince of pain, and then you just see this red hue just kind of glowing and crackling around the crossbow.
And I will shoot the damn creature again.
Okay, pulls back the crank, levels it, fires this crossbow bolt
26.
to hit.
Yes.
Jesus, level 2,
You have
26 to hit, and level 2, and at
You
advantage,
have
yeah.
advantage.
Roll it again.
I have advantage?
Like,
Really?
my crit.
Damn.
Just crit and hit
Really wanna go
28,
for that,
why
Rob?
not? Yeah, you may as well fish for the crit. So roll it again.
24. 24.
Level 2. Unbelievable. So we've got Cleric hitting for 20, and you hitting or rolling to hit on the 20s as well. Yeah, that absolutely hits. And as the crossbow bolt leaves the bow, you can see this crackling red aura just ignite the whole shaft of this bolt as it just goes spiraling through the air.
Wow.
Yep.
That's new.
Shiny.
So, I need
So I roll-
your normal damage for your crossbow plus 1d4 of fire damage, please.
It's an extra. That's 11 plus 2, 13.
13.
Yeah.
Okay. And as this bolt hits, you just see the bolt tear through and kind of the splash of flame as it connects, and then you see this kind of the orb kind of collapses in on itself, almost like a rapidly deflating, like a football that's been deflated and popped. It kind of folds in on itself and eventually just then slowly falls to the floor, and as it hits the floor it kind of wrinkles up and curls up amongst itself until there's no form left and there is no trace.
Well, fuck.
So there's nothing. There's no book. Nothing's left.
There's nothing left at all.
She's gonna just stand there, look really pissed off.
What was that?
I don't know, but I had plans for that damn book, and
What was the
she'll
book?
just
Good job.
Turn
Quick
around.
conference now.
You are out of
Because we
initiative.
did just destroy a book.
You see at this point a pair of white and purple robed individuals come kind of not quite, they kind of break down from a full sprint into kind of a slow jog as they see this seems to have resolved itself, and they kind of look over and you can see between them a purple robed priest comes, kind of, they break down into this walk and they start approaching you, and they're about maybe
I'll start walking towards them.
Yeah, it's fine. Take your time. We got this.
is it
And
dead?
I'll just yell out. I'll yell out, "What was that? And why is it here? You just handed a book over to somebody. Could have been somebody weaker, and they would have died."
It's the We thought
How did that get past you?
It's the third one this week. We've been looking into it. We thought we dealt with it.
Third.
We don't know what's been going on. We've had
fucking many.
recently.
Is it the same globulous creature, or
I don't know what they are. It's
Is it the same book that it's happening to?
no. We only have one copy of each book.
What are the other books that it's happened to? Are they all the same, as a similar theme? Are they about a similar subject?
Same author.
Let me one moment. And he pulls out this little kind of flip book in his pocket, which is not a DM's tool of quickly looking through notes at all.
Was it a fun book to her?
it seemed like a fun book. I needed some information from it, and now, well,
I mean,
hopefully there's an original somewhere. Hopefully this is just a dud.
don't know what I don't know what one of them was. The Yularian took it out for study, and apparently a similar thing happened, and they reported it. They said a book had attacked them, and they dealt with it, but there was no trace, there was nothing, and we just thought it was a one-off. But 2 days ago, the book called The Fallen Tethamar was check here. It was let out to a tiefling knight called Valia. They reported similar as well, and they were less happy about it.
Tell me though, have you by any chance looked for the original copies of this book? Of any of these books, sorry.
We thought they were the original copies of this book. They were
Did
brought.
you double check if the originals exist? Just misplaced somewhere?
They're known of text, yes. We check legitimacy of texts on arrival, and they match records that these texts exist, and they've been on the shelf for a couple of days.
Are these books recent then? They've been on the shelf for a couple of days. Are they
It hasn't
recently
been
brought in?
it hasn't been long at all. They're both recent additions to the library.
Who
By
brought
the
them?
same person?
No, like I say, Yularian brought in one of them not too long ago, and Valia maybe two weeks ago brought it in as their offering to the library to be granted access as a seeker.
Are they still here? Do you know where they got these books?
I think they're both here. You'd have to speak with them. Valia is here. They've been working on repairing the roof, paying off the debt to the lost goods. Yularian, I believe, is at the Arth. They're staying there. You may be able to find them there. Look, is everyone okay? Is anyone hurt? You all seem on your feet at least.
I'll look back to Irene. You okay? We'll be fine.
Just from behind a shield, like thumb up.
How many more new books have arrived recently?
Let me
Quite a large amount, or?
let me just check. And they put the little notebook away and pull out a blank scroll, and then all of a sudden this kind of gold cursive writing starts scrolling past it at ridiculously high speeds. The last 10-day between transported texts in remotely and new seekers looking for admission, 133 new texts in the last 10
Specifically,
days.
new seekers looking for admission.
Oh, good.
I want to walk around and try and look over his shoulder at his list.
New seekers specifically. How many?
We don't. 47 texts from seekers in the last 10 days.
How about you grab those books and put them away somewhere? And that includes the book that we brought in as well. You can't trust it at this point.
We will, please extend apologies of the readers here. We will double our efforts in ensuring this doesn't happen again. Please accept our forgiveness.
Well, make sure that any new book that's brought in, and 100 and something books to all of you shouldn't be that hard to remove off the shelves.
We will quarantine them
double-check.
immediately, and we'll begin our own investigations. The Archmages will begin straight away.
And let nothing new in. If something new comes in, leave it on a special shelf somewhere off to the side, hidden away. Nobody's in a rush to read that stuff anyway.
Who did you say was
Except
in
for
the,
me.
in the hearth?
Thank the gods that no one's been hurt. It seems the The worst injury we've had is a simulacrum was destroyed, leading to a rather annoyed archmage who spent some time creating it, but as we pointed out, better that than him.
Who's in the hearth?
I believe Yularian's staying at the hearth. Valerian High Scroll, they've an acolyte here. They've partway through a 10-day stay here at the library looking for. They've travelled in from Waterdeep looking for more texts of Ogma, and they've been quite a joy around here. Actually, full of smiles, but their book they brought here was one that was reported to have attacked.
I'm just going to start walking off towards the hearth to find this person.
Look,
what was the name again? I can't remember.
Yalerion. Yalerion. Yalerion.
Yeah, I'm walking towards the hearth.
Look, I need to
and bow to the guy.
We're glad you're okay. It seems you were more than capable, and I'm glad it was dealt with. But if you excuse me, I've probably shared too much. I need to report
fine.
this.
Just take care of your own. And lock up those books, as I mentioned, please.
They turn tail and they start hurried up. They move back towards the two purple and white robed archmages, and all three of them quickly hurry towards the large emerald door.
Catch up and make sure not the little ones are falling behind us. I'm tall. They're tiny.
I'm 5'8".
Irini, are you okay?
Mal's fairly tall. Irini's short.
I have a potion on hand if you need.
When I get to the hearth, I'm going to open the door.
But right now, I'll be all right.
All right. Let's catch up to you, Green. I'll scurry on behind her. Catch up to her.
Where do you think I can get some white and purple robes?
I'm sure after what we went through, they wouldn't mind parting them before we leave.
Just
steal them. I'll get them for you. Don't worry. Don't steal them. A boop on her nose. No.
When we get into the hearth, I'm going to bring up my alchemy.
Okay. So you slab open the door to hearth, and the familiar large inside and the ticking of the amplification device mounted in the ceiling whirring overhead. You can see a few of the kitchen staff you've been working with, Irene and Mal. They're kind of preparing for the afternoon opening, and it seems that they're not open for businesses yet, and it's kind of the clean down and the prep is underway.
I'm going to walk up to the bar and say, is the barkeeper there, the tiefling?
You don't spot Ark, no. There's a halfling who's kind of wiping down the bar at the moment who kind of stops and looks up. Seeker Grain, can I help?
We're looking for someone called Yulara, and it's very urgent. Are they in this bar at the moment, or if not, can you tell me which room they're in?
Yularin, they were in one of the study rooms, one of the meeting rooms here. If you should be out short if you. I'm sure they're not to follow me, and they kind of scurry under the bar, and they head over to one of the many doors surrounding the Hearth Tavern Inn, and they move up to this unmarked door that just has a Roman numeral 3 on the front, and they bang 3 times on the door, and there's a short break, and then the door is swept open, and there is a young, clean-shaven, close-cropped, dark-haired human who has kind of these casual, free-flowing robes around them, big beaming smile on their face, and these bright blue eyes, and they open the doors like, and yes, sorry, what?
Yularin?
Yes, that's me. Who are you?
I'm a Grain. We need to talk. And I'm just going to sort of usher him into the room with my sheer size.
Yeah,
walk backwards.
Okay, yeah, come in, I guess. And as you step into this room, you see it's a similar technology that they've used elsewhere, where this kind of small cubbyhole becomes this large, plush kind of lounge area, and you see a number of chairs around a central table. There are a number of areas where people can pin up scrolls and text. There's a lectern in one corner, and kind of he half falls, half sits down in one of the chairs as the collection of you lot enter the space.
Is
As
there
they
any
all
notes?
walk in, I'm going to shut the door and stand by the door with my arms crossed, like in front of the door.
Nice to meet you too. What's this about? What?
I'll walk over to a chair and gesture and ask him, may I?
By all means, please.
She'll just gracefully sit down and just stare at him. I'll wait for a grain.
Is there any notes on the wall?
Doesn't appear to be. There's like areas where things can be attached. Like it looks like there's book holders, areas where parchments and things can be affixed. It looks kind of like a group study area, like a meeting room that has been enchanted with a similar technology of the rooms that you're staying in. That the doorway is much smaller than the space beyond it.
I'm going to take a seat as well then.
Okay. Look, I mean, I'm all for meeting new people, and the Arth is the place for that, but this seems to be of some urgency. What's going on?
The book that you donated to Candlekeep to become a seeker, what was it called?
It was called the Dark Hunger.
And where did you get it?
It's from Waterdeep. I worked there within the Font of Knowledge, and it was a transfer. They were moving it. They wanted the. I purchased it from Waterdeep, and it was originally going to stay there, but I had a trip planned here, and I learnt of the rules of the gift to be granted entry. So I picked it up and offered it as payment. I'm sure you did similar.
How much do I believe what they're saying?
Make an insight check. Suspicious.
I'm doing this. All this questioning is like no holds barred, like completely trying to intimidate them for anything.
I'm going to see you just randomly bought a very
Ooh.
that'll get you into Candlekeep.
Nat 20 plus 6, 26.
Looks open and approachable. They look relaxed, if not a little bit concerned, but they don't seem threatened. They seem fairly relaxed.
Do you know how the book became a part of the collection at Waterdeep? Where did it come from before that?
I purchased it. I bought it from the market stall in the Wide.
Do you remember who from?
It's from the Wide's too noisy and hectic for my liking. I think the name had June in it, but I don't remember much beyond that, I'm afraid.
Can you just try and remember a bit harder? It's very important.
Something June. I'm afraid the name escapes me. It's in the Wide. There's hundreds of shops there. They all merge together in that place. It's
okay. Well, currently that book has just. Is that the one that's just attacked us, sorry, or is that the one that's attacked
No,
previously?
the one that Sahar was reading was Mazfroth's Mighty Digressions. The book that Yularian donated apparently had, within the last 10 days, was one of the other two to have done something similar.
Okay. So have you heard about what happened to the book that you donated here to become a seeker?
No, I imagine it's being read through and added to the archives.
No, it wasn't a book, or it might have appeared to be a book to begin with, but it's some kind of monster, some kind of creature. We've just fought one similar out there in the square.
It got hungry and tried to eat people.
I mean, you did.
Large gelatinous creature. It's not a book.
What do you mean it wasn't a book? It was in my possession for a number of days. I carried it here and donated it and carried it in my own hand.
Exactly, a book that's very rare was so easily found by you in Waterdeep, of all places.
It's particularly rare. It cost me a few gold pieces, certainly, but...
Well, within a week, it has definitely tried to attack people, and it's no longer a book. Once it's destroyed, it disappears. We've just fought something similar out in the square. It's a massive gelatinous monster type thing.
I mean, I was shocked to hear as probably you are to know this. I mean, I had no idea. Like, it's the first I've heard of it. I brought it here 5 days ago, and it gained my entry, and allowed me to become
Any other books from that shop in Waterdeep by any chance?
No, I mean, normally, like I say, I work at the Font of Knowledge, and I normally have access there. In the temple, I don't really have need for bookstores typically. It's just I needed something to gift here, and I thought purchasing something was better than taking something from there.
When
How did you know what to
bought the
specifically
book,
look for? Go on, right.
sorry, when you bought the book, did the market seller seem to push you to buying a particular title? Were they very forthcoming with the book, or did you select it yourself?
I mean, I selected it myself. It looked interesting, a little bit on the darker side, which typically is more unheard of in these parts. So I figured it had.
Did you read the book?
Briefly thumbed through it. Not really of my interest, but a quick skim.
What was it about?
It's about a powerful entity served by warlocks and cultists. It's things beyond the stars. It was a little bit far-fetched for me. I prefer my text.
Sahar, what was the book that you were reading about?
It was called Mazfroth's Mighty Digressions.
What was it about specifically?
Lycanthropy, shape-shifting, undead, very off this plane creatures. Bit about Mistra, bit about a few other Malar. But mostly, yeah, about the weave. Which makes sense for the creature that came here.
Mm. Do we know if all the creatures appeared the same? Did we ask that of the readers?
You can try and go and ask the readers. You haven't asked the readers that.
I did. I asked if they were all gelatinous cubes. I'm not sure if you answered specifically. You just said no, like creatures.
You didn't get an answer either way. You're unsure.
Okay.
I think we should keep looking. I think we should find the rest of the seekers if they're still here.
We need to find and speak to the other person that donated the other book, because that's 3 books that's happened to. So we need to go and find the person that's in the roof, paying off their debts, fixing the roof. And on our way there, if we can find a reader to ask about the different forms that the books might have taken as monsters, that'll be an idea as well. Because that one took a gelatinous, horrible monstrosity form, but they might not have all looked like that. And they might look like the monsters that the books are about. So we need to find out, now that we know what this book is about. And sorry, Yalaran, what monster specifically was this book about?
I didn't look in that much detail. I'm afraid it was just a shapeless entity from some sort of deity from beyond the stars. Shapeless void creature of some description. I'm not sure.
Was the tentacles?
Usually are in these sort of things.
Do you remember the name of the deity?
No, like I say, I just had a brief skim to see if it seemed interesting enough to get me entry here.
I think we've heard enough.
Look, I genuinely didn't know. I brought the book here, offered it, and I've been here studying for the last 5 days.
Well, make sure that you don't leave, because we might need to come and talk to you again. And currently, I'd keep your head down, because you're the person that's bought this book that's attacked people. So
I'm here.
You need to be careful.
What are you studying?
I intend to stay here for I've got another 5 days left of my stay, but then I'm needed back in Waterdeep. I'll be travelling back at the end of the week. But if you need anything before then please, I'm happy to help and answer any questions you have.
What are you studying?
A little bit of all sorts. Kind of seeing what rare texts are here that I can't get access to elsewhere. It's I've always wanted to visit here since I was a child, and it's through the exchange between here and the Font of Knowledge. It's being able to realise that, and just being here is a reward unto itself. So whatever texts are recommended, and seeing the sights, as it were.
Have you tried the cocktail at the bar yet? The new one?
I'm afraid I don't drink. It's not really my my vice. It's doesn't agree with me.
Helps with studying sometimes.
Okay, was anyone hurt by this thing? Is everyone okay?
We're fine, thankfully.
We went there for
Could have been worse.
Gonna say, just like lean close to him and say, "Don't go anywhere," and then I'm out the door, marching.
I'm gonna wait as long as is a little awkward, then follow.
Just kind of
Thanks for your
avoid
help.
eye contact and just kind of sits there quietly, just like.
I'll thank him for his help and be the last one out.
And they remain as you. The door is closed, and you guys find yourself back in the hearth.
Next book. What do you say, Green? The one that just recently attacked us, or?
No, the next person that's fixing the roof. Is the little halfling barkeep still there?
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of the second person?
It was Valia.
Valia. Valia, I've been told they're fixing the roof somewhere in Candlekeep. Can you tell me specifically where and how to get there?
I'm afraid I don't know who you mean. This
Tiefling knight here studying.
potentially we have a lot of people studying here. It doesn't ring a bell, I'm afraid.
If someone were fixing the roof, where would they be? Where is the broken roof?
Temples often going repairs. You'd maybe try there.
Cool, thank you.
Do they raise a fund for the fixing of the temple roof?
It's not really my area of knowledge. Maybe.
I think they said they were doing it to pay off a debt. I think he owed them for some damages.
Is Ark due on today?
I think they're in a bit later on for opening, but not in this morning, Mel.
Tell them I might not be in the morning for me.
Okay, I'll leave a note.
Thank you.
No problem.
Let's go off. That's fine then.
As I'm walking towards the temple, are there any of the people in the white and purple robes, like the sort of higher up reader?
Not of the
library
white
staff?
and purple robes. And you've identified since your time here of the last week that the white and purple robes are an element of archmages who are there for security and protection rather than seniority.
Any kind of staff in purple robes? Any of the?
There's a few. You see a
people that are
couple. You see a couple sort of chatting outside of the. You see a couple stood talking outside of the temple area.
I'll approach them and say, "My name's Igraine. We've been staying here for the past just under 2 weeks. I'm assuming you're aware of the recent unfortunate goings on with some of the books turning into horrible monstrosities."
I'm not sure what you've heard there, Seeker, but any security concerns are probably best raised with the mages.
No, it's not a security concern. I've just been part of dealing with one of these transforming books in the square. I need to know, what form did the other two take?
I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about.
You haven't heard of these books transforming?
No, I've been here working in the temple. Who are you again? Sorry?
Igraine, I'm a seeker here. I've been for just under 2 weeks.
Okay, I'm afraid I don't follow. It's not something I've heard about. No transforming books here at the temple.
Okay, just
Then
gonna
you're keeping
sigh
quiet?
and walk into the temple.
Can I see a broken roof from the courtyard?
There's scaffolding around parts of the southern side facing roof.
Tap a Igraine on the shoulder before she goes into the temple. Just scaffolding?
Yeah, we can look from the outside and head round there with Mel.
Okay. You head round and you do hear hammering. You do hear the noises of nails been driven into timber above you.
While they're there, I'm just walking around temple, just looking around. Anything that might pique my interest.
The temple itself. Let me have a look. So the temple itself, it is the Temple of Ogma. It's a modest stone temple with wooden kind of framing around the roof. And there is a large bronze bell hung in an archway above the front door. As you kind of gaze up and kind of take in the fairly intimidating front of the building, you do see 4 stone-carved gargoyle-like creatures looming back down at you, almost like protectively, kind of hunched over these big curved wings over. And yeah, the temple itself is modest inside. There's a small shrine to Ogma, and then there's a number of benches and areas. They don't all face different directions, like separate little private rooms. There's a few texts scattered around, a few people chatting amongst themselves. It doesn't
While
seem
they're
to be
looking-
anything immediately that kind of jumps out at you as kind of aligned with what you're looking at.
A few people that are, I'm gonna, like, when they're looking for the person who's fixing a roof, I'm gonna ask a few people around and everything, have they noticed any of these attacks around? Just very casually, very nicely.
Make a persuasion check for the kind of, as you ask around within the room.
Damn, my Christmas shit. 6.
No one really seems to know. Few people kind of take you seriously, and those who do don't really know what you're on about. It doesn't seem like word has travelled particularly well, or most people here are not aware of what's been happening.
I'll just nod and be like, don't worry about
You
it.
do find that someone does mention that there has been a tiefling working on the roof, and they seem pretty unhappy about having to be working on it.
Can you put me where they are?
They should be up there working now.
Is there any way for us to access the roof or to see the tiefling?
There's some steps
Inside.
heading up to these like wooden platforms that descend up the back side of the temple towards the roof. You could climb up onto the scaffolding. You can hear some work going up there. You can't see anyone from where you are.
Go back to Ukraine and motion to her for the steps to go up. Should we
We
head
went
up?
all around there, aren't we? We went round to the scaffolding at the back.
Yeah.
Are they right there? Okay, yeah. We'll just follow them on then, see where they're
Okay.
going, because I have nothing else down here.
So as you guys make your way to the back and kind of look, you do see a figure up on the scaffolding above.
Oi!
Or yourself!
Can we have a word?
Busy!
It's a bit
No, you're not.
important.
So's this.
No, this is quite a bit more important. It's life and death important, so come on down, will you?
Better be good. And
Oh, trust me, it is.
you hear heavy footsteps, and a young female tiefling of this kind of pastely red colour drops down and kind of drops the last few rungs of the ladder and lands. And you can see this kind of purple sash around their waist, kind of sleeves rolled up, kind of sawdust sticking to kind of sweat across their brow, and they kind of look like a permanent scowl. They look not particularly happy with their circumstances. Yes, what is it? Got this blasted roof to fix.
Did you break it?
No, I didn't break it. I'm helping the
Okay.
priests here with chores to make amends for an incident.
Did it involve a book?
Everything here involves a book. It's a library.
Did it involve a bitey book?
don't know the specifics. I said the book I brought to grant entry was a fake. Said I owed for its cost. Seeing as I'd already been here for some time and I didn't have any other books to offer in replacement, they've got me fixing the damn roof until that's deemed suitable.
Did they tell you what happened to that book?
They said it was a fake. It was some sort of disguised creature of some sorts. No idea.
They were unfortunately right. You see, one of those disguised creatures from another book that I was reading almost killed this little lovely one here, and I'll motion to Marini.
She looks fine. I'm sure that's tragic and all, but what's that have to do with me?
Sorry, what? I look fine.
The same thing happened to the
Hold her
book that you
back.
brought here.
She means you look fine. Like, fine. Like,
Yes, you are fine.
I'm not fine. Have you seen my two black eyes? Like, I'm feeling great. I mean, that's no one knows.
Again,
I'll
but
go over to the tiefling.
Oh, it's just a thing. It's not. It's an issue.
So where did you get this book, if we don't mind asking?
look, I've been over this with the damn readers. I just want to get the roof finished. It's been a long couple of days, alright? If you want to play her detectives, go question the priests of here, right? I just want to get this done and be on my way.
I'd like to hear it from you so no children get hurt from any further studies.
Can you see any children in here?
You never know.
Questioning
I want to know where these
and you're
books are
gonna
coming
answer our
from.
questions. What was the name of the book that you brought here? And I'm going to step up to them and just loom over them.
Make
Are you
a persuasion check.
Are you thirsty? Would you like a drink?
I was going more the other route.
Make an intimidation check then.
Thank you. 12.
In the meantime,
And
Mal is trying to offer water.
She basically puffs her chest out and kind of looks you in the eye and is fairly broad in stature themselves and don't seem to take any interest in your attempts.
Cute.
Now, a question. I'm guessing we're all on the floor, correct? We're all on the ground.
Yeah, you're on the ground floor.
Cool. And I kind of look up at the scaffolding. I look to Steve and I'm like, oh, so, how long did it take for you to put this up?
I didn't put the scaffolding up, it was here. I've been helping the priests with their work. It's
Okay.
been a few
So,
of us.
if it were to fall down, would you have to build it again?
No, you would.
It's not what I asked. Would you have to build it again?
No, you would.
Why would she have to build it again? She's asking you a simple question.
If she knocks it down, she puts it back.
She never said she's going to knock it down. What makes you that assumption?
Look, if you've done wasting my time, I'm going to get some lunch, finish this roof, and be on my way. If anything's
Yeah, you've wasted our time. You could have just said, this is the book that I brought. Cool, thank you, we're off. But yeah, you are wasting our time just as much as we're apparently wasting yours.
Look,
So why can't you just tell us what the book is? Was it porn? Are you ashamed? Are you ashamed in the porn that you brought?
Was the tentacles?
It's okay. There's nothing wrong with porn. It's perfectly healthy.
How
just
much
tell
do
us
you
the
owe
book.
exactly?
they just bend over, pick up the water skein that they have, sling it over their shoulder, and start walking away.
I'll step in her way and just ask her very courteously, how much do you owe them?
It's not so much gold, it's more just the time and do a couple of favours to offset
So
that.
it's not about money, is it?
No, you know the way it works here, right? You donate something to the library and they shared knowledge with you back, and it was deemed that as the book I brought turned out to be fake, then I'd not offered anything to the library, not added to, so I've add value here.
No,
to
but you
make
see,
up
that's a
for-
bit wrong because you didn't know you brought a fake. There was a
So,
creature that kind of...
I'm
Essentially,
well
it's not
aware
a fake
of that.
book.
I'm aware
It's
of the
not a book at
unfairness
all.
of the situation.
Have another word with them. There's been more.
Look, it's been a long day. Your friend's a bit of a dick, to be honest, and I'm very much at the wrong end of a long stay here. So, if
How
you
about
kindly
if we find
move-
out... If anybody else who's brought these fake books has had the same punishment as you have, and if they haven't,
That's
Invite me
between the
up and get you out of
readers
this
and me.
loophole.
I don't care what happens to the other people, alright? I just want to get this done and be back.
Fine. That was
Not
only
that
one
it
for me
was
to
a
help to
fake
get you out of
book.
here.
It's not that it was a. It's not that it was a fake copy. It was that it wasn't a book at all. It was a monster. It wasn't even a book, and it was something that could have hurt people. All we're trying to do is to stop more people getting hurt. We're trying to find out if there's a link between the
Make
books that
a
are changing.
persuasion check.
Yeah, -1, 16.
Oh, look, if I tell you the same thing I told them, will you piss off and leave me alone?
Absolutely.
Fine. I've been here about 2 weeks. I brought a book called the Fallen Tethermarks about some old King Gellin, a dwarf who was looking to reclaim a kingdom in the Desert Realth Mountains in the east, off near Coram.
You didn't happen to get into Waterdeep, did you?
Makes you say that.
Just trying to find a
The other
pattern.
book came from. Where did you find this book?
Bought it from the Wide. There's a shop there, outdoory books shop. They had all sorts. Stood
What's
out.
the name of the person that you bought it from?
Don't know. I didn't ask the name.
Waterdeep it was, wasn't it?
June. Something June.
Maybe I didn't really pay attention to the name of the shop. It was in the not the most reputable corner of the marketplace, shall we say?
Okay, so the book that another person brought, that the same thing happened to the book that you brought, was bought in the same place. So with your information and with you talking to us and helping us, we have made that link. I don't know if the speakers here have made that link, if the readers here, sorry, have made that link. So now, thank you for cooperating. We have the information that we need. We've made the link as to what is happening with these books.
Wonderful. Will she move out my way now?
One last question. Are you single?
And she just walks off.
Ouch. I'll yell back to her. That was a simple question. Could have at least answered them. She'll flip her hair and just
Silence as she
Oh,
storms
the
off
wink
into
back
the
smell.
distance.
Can we stab her now?
maybe
I
later.
think we're going to Waterdeep.
How far away is Waterdeep?
Not sure, but we need to speak to the archmages before we go. Or if we need to go. I need to make sure that if they've made this link as well, they might have more information for us.
We need to
But,
speak to them and
those
see
two books
why.
We need to find out who bought that book, Mazfroth Mighty Digressions, in, and if we need to find out who brought that in,
As
and we need to find out if
as a quick point of correction, the marketplace, the Wide is in Baldur's Gate, not Waterdeep.
Oh, two different cities there.
So it's
looks
Baldur's
like
Gate.
we're going to Baldur's Gate.
But you said it was a bookshop that moves, right?
No, it's from what you gather,
it's
it's within the Wides is a well-known, rough and tumble open market area within Baldur's Gate.
Open markets. Okay, so anybody can sell at any given
There are
point.
some
city to
fixed
city.
residents. There's a lot of stalls, a lot of street traders. It's a bit of a mixture of everything.
Okay, so we're both books from that Wide in Baldur's Gate then.
As far as you're aware, based on the
Yeah, okay.
information you've picked up from Valerian and Valia.
Yeah.
We need to speak to the archmages. We need to find out if they know who brought Mazfroth's Mighty Digressions into Candlekeep, if it came from that place, and then I'm assuming we're going to be going to that place to find out who is selling these books that are not books and that are going to kill people, and why they want them in Candlekeep. If they want them in Candlekeep, maybe they're just selling them to anyone, but it might be a direct attack on Candlekeep. So we need to go and find the archmages.
We do indeed.
Attacked by
And I
book.
do have some
That's
questions
clever.
to ask them. Do you remember if the previous gentleman that we just met in his, his room, was he under any kind of lockdown or punishment to stay here for the wrongful book that he brought?
No,
in?
he was just finishing his study. I don't think he'd been punished at all. for his book. He said he was going in 5 days, so. But they might not have
doesn't
got
seem
to
too
him yet.
impressed, and she just kind of like turns a little bit dark, gloomy. All right, let's see what the third person has in store for us.
We don't know who that is. We need to talk to the archmages to find out who that is. So.
Oh, we will.
Okay. We are going to take our break there as you guys leave the grounds of the Temple of Ogma and head back to the Court of Air to try and track down some more of the priests and the avowed Candlekeep. So continue your questioning and continue your detective work. So thank you very much to our lovely friends in the chat. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your follows. Thank you for your support in the first half of episode 4 of the Short Rest Tavern. Join us at part 1 of Mazfroth's Mighty Digressions, which is the second book in the collection of adventures within the Candlekeep Mysteries book by Wizards of the Coast. We are going to be taking a 15-minute break just to recharge and come back. But while break is happening, we are going to be running our weekly giveaway. So in a moment, we are going to pop up a chat from our bot in chat, and it will be asking for a word. That word will need to be exclamation mark and whatever word it says, which we'll set in a moment. Please don't put before that notification comes up or you won't be entered. At the end of the break, we will be giving away a digital copy of Candlekeep Mysteries from our friends at D&D Beyond. So thank you very much for D&D Beyond for your support. We use them quite heavily for the campaign. I use them for the encounter builders and a lot of digital versions of the books because I find it easier to navigate on digital than I do in actual book. And I believe the characters, I make my characters on there, and I believe the rest of the party all do as well. So, great stuff from D&D Beyond. Thank you very much to all the people supporting, following, liking, following, share, tweeting, Facebooking, whatever the relevant social media terms are. If you can all do us a favour on the break, if you know any people who may be interested in listening along, watching along, people who are wondering what D&D is, if they have interest in fantasy stories, if they just like interactive storytelling, if they just want something to have on in the background, a share, a follow, a recommendation goes a long, long way in helping us grow our community. We've picked up 54 followers in our first 3 episodes, which is fantastic. And it'd be great to grow the community and get more people
56.
in the chat. 56.
We're on 56 because we recently just had another follower of D&D Scotty V.
Excellent. But it'd be fantastic to have more
Thank you,
people in the
Scotty.
chat, and the bigger the community, the more interaction we can have. The more comments, the more questions. It helps us out loads, and it's something we're wanting to grow and that we're all very passionate about here. And the bigger we grow, the more we can do.
And my noob status didn't scare anybody away. So
we'd love to be able to do some community games and do some wider appeal stuff as well. And having a wider community enables us to do that. Until then, the word this week
Is jelly.
Yes, jelly. So in a moment, not before, guys. Do just wait until the notification goes up in chat. When the notification goes up, today's giveaway word will be exclamation mark jelly. Once the command is in the chat, drop it in chat and it'll confirm your entry. And then in about 15 minutes time, we will jump back, do the giveaway, and then complete the second half of episode 4. Until then, guys, we will see you shortly. Best of luck in the competition.
Jelly.
Hey, welcome back.
hello.
Hello! Welcome back, internet. Greetings and welcome back to the Short Rest Tavern. Well, I didn't do my intro last time, I just realised. Yeah, welcome back to Short Rest Tavern, where we share stories, tell tales, and explore adventures through Dungeons and Dragons. That's what we do. We
And get
Oh,
attacked
then
by
you tripped over your
furniture.
words a little bit there, Rob. That was good.
That's good. I'm getting better
You
at this.
styled it well.
It's
Styled
only
it
the
well.
8th time I've said it. I've been getting alright at this. I can English. I'm a streamer. I can say words into a microphone. We're professional.
Shurish Tavern.
Yo.
Welcome back
Woo!
to the Shurish
Welcome back, thank you. Yes, I'm afraid the gateway? The gateway is also closed, but the giveaway is closed. Thank you for those who've entered. We'll be announcing the winner in just a hot second. In the meantime, quick.
Not you, Tony. It's not going to be.
Whoa, I've just broken the cameras.
Hannah, can we have a command for Tony as a winner, please?
Oh no. I've just managed to break Twitch, or break our cameras.
All on your own. That's a feat.
Yay.
Oh. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll do the announcement while I'm fixing the cameras. So, I think. So, if our lovely Bard can give us the good news and let us know who the winner is of this week.
Give me 1 second. I'm making a command.
I fixed
Tony's
it.
getting their own.
Woo, we're back. And a Mal.
Hey!
Hey. Right.
I don't exist apparently.
Right. 3, 2, 1. 586. Woo!
Who? Hasn't come up on chat.
And,
Will do. Just give it a second.
Wait, I
It's
couldn't
been
hear
a
it.
long day for everyone. It will pop
Clear the
up, I
void.
swear.
Void is us.
We got the void.
Awkward. Irene, what's going on?
Hey, Sarah's here. Hi.
Time, but Power Hunter 86, you have won. It has popped up on my screen so that you are the winner. It's just going to take some long ass time, apparently, for it to come through in the
Pronounce
chat
it fancier,
and make me
the,
look bad.
Shav.
Charles.
That's completely up to you. You're the person that runs this channel, so
Cool.
do you
Shav
think?
Hunter 86, I believe. Is that the winner?
Yes.
yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so Shav Hunter 86. I think it's better Shav. It's got a bit of elegance to it.
Sharp.
You are this week's winner.
Hunter.
Very congratulations to you.
Congrats.
If you want to drop us a PM in our Twitch channel with an email address, we will be able to get that redemption code over to you, plug that into D&D Beyond, and you will have your very own copy of Candlekeep Mysteries. Everyone else, but we're going to be doing another giveaway again next week. So after this session, make sure you are fully tuned in, fully liked, followed, shared, subscribed, and be in with your chance of winning next week. And we will continue our giveaways as we continue the wonderful campaign, Candlekeep Mysteries. A little bit of a quick recap of our schedule and a recap of the first half, and we'll jump in the second half of tonight's game. So, if you enjoy what we do, every Monday, 7:30 UK time, we are working our way through a Candlekeep Mysteries, the latest campaign, or the latest source book from Wizards of the Coast. We are running it as a consistent campaign, and we're going to go through all 17 adventures. You join us on episode 4, which is Mazfroth's Mighty Digressions Part 1, where the party have enjoyed a little bit of downtime. They've been enjoying the weather, they've been enjoying the accommodation, the food, and the solace of the Candlekeep Library Fortress, where Mal and Irene spent some time working with Arcthus, the tiefling proprietor of the Rest Tavern, who you've been working in the kitchen, you've been working behind the bar, and you've picked up a few skills and transferred a few of your own skills and left a little bit of an impression on the bar with some recipes and a new cocktail that is sweeping the students. It's a Wednesday night freshest favourite. We'll come up with a name for it, and it'll be there. Sahar picked up a new book to read, Mazfroth's Mighty Digressions, a book around shape-changing, lycanthropy, and Mazfroth's seemingly eclectic rantings about where it comes from. Where is the ability to change one's form originated from? Is it magical? Is it a intervention from the gods? Or is it something else? While you were thumbing through that book, it turned into a creature and tried to murder you all, as be the case, seemingly, with your recent fortune. However, you managed to defeat this strange creature and began a little bit of an investigation to find out this has seemingly happened before, and you've pieced some pieces together and seen that the books had come from the same location and bought from the same area of Baldur's Gate, and which is where we jump back in, where the I hate you all so much. I am a mimic. That's not even a secret. That's just fact. I am in fact a mimic. I pretend to be a DM.
No, Streamlabs is completely broken.
Streamlabs is fine.
No, I mean the Streamhouse chat
Server.
bot.
Oh, okay. All right, we don't have a
Well,
chat
not
bot, so somebody else is going to have to count how many crossbow bolts get fired.
Right. Keep
That
an eye
said,
on
we are going to
stuff.
jump back in today's game. The party, you are in the Court of Air. You've just left the Temple of Ogma, having spoken to the tense and quite pissed off tiefling Valia, one of the people who brought one of the books, seemingly that had changed form and attacked one of the wizards. What is your next step?
I'd like to fire a crossbow bolt into the sky.
I'm going to make you do this. Roll it to hit roll.
Are we still inside the temple?
Hang on,
when
hang
they're
on.
doing
We're just
this?
going to wait for a nat 1 and Mal kills himself. Just 1 second.
22. No, 20, sorry.
Fine. You would you actually like to fire the crossbow bolt?
Yeah.
No, cool. Okay, so Chav Hunter 86, yes, thank you. We've got your message. We'll get that sent over to you a little bit later this evening after the conclusion of tonight's game. What is your next step?
Go to find the person who brought the book that I read.
Okay. You don't spot the same person who came over to you following the incident. You do see a number of the purple-robed vowed priests wandering around. People seem to be going on about their business. The commotion from earlier seems to have settled. What is it you'd like to do?
We need
Thank you
to
very much.
find the archmages, what do they call themselves? The readers.
So
We need to find someone to talk.
you have not met any of the readers yourself as yet. You understand that they are kind of the senior, upon the seniority of the hierarchy of Candlekeep. They tend to be the master sages and the more senior members of the staff here at Candlekeep, and traditionally are found in the library proper rather than the Court of Air, which seems to be more manned by the Avowed, which are the purple-robed priests, and the gatekeepers, who are the purple and white-robed archmages who act as the defence force here.
Would we know the way to there from our having been hanging around here for like
The way
almost
to
2
where,
weeks?
sorry?
The proper.
Yeah, you're aware that the main library is with all the weird towers, and you can see the second part of this complex beyond the Emerald Door, which you have not been granted entry, you've not approached, you've not tried to go through. You're aware that you've only really been in the court area, and you've yet to enter the library proper. Sahar, you'll be aware of when you've been looking for books, you've not been granted entry to the library, but these Avowed have taken note of what texts you would like to read and have fetched them for you and returned them once you've completed your work with them.
Do we need the archmages, or will the priest know what we need to know?
I mean, the people outside the temple that I spoke to said that if it was a matter of security, we needed to talk to the archmages. So,
Oh, okay, yeah.
so I'm gonna just sort of gesture to the group and approach the Emerald Door.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, you head over to the large green, very grand center point of the Court of Air. These huge 15-foot translucent green stone doors, heavily warded, swirling with magic enchantment, with these wonderfully carved stone impressions remaining the wall. In front of it, there does appear to be a purple-robed individual stood to attention in front of the door.
We need access as a matter of urgency. We believe the Candlekeep security has been breached.
Do you have permission to enter the inner ward?
No. How do we get that?
I'm afraid the inner ward is off limits to all seekers without special dispensation, which must come from the Keeper of the Tombs, the First Reader, or one of the 8 Great Readers.
Does being accosted and attacked and nearly killed by one of your books count as entry?
I'm afraid not. No, if you've got the letter of admittance, I'll happily grant you entrance. But
How do we get one of those? Where do we find the people to talk to?
you would need to apply for one. It can take some time. It's very
Your
unusual.
books are attacking your staff. We have no time.
I'm sure the people involved will be well aware of the situation and dealing with it promptly. Usually,
We have more
not.
information that they might have known, and we are willing to help. So can you please talk to someone if you can, get them to come out here to speak to us? We don't have to enter. If someone can come and talk to us, that would be fine.
Okay. If you bear with me 2 moments, I'll see if there's a representative who will come and speak to you. And you see them
Out and wait.
kind of.
Are the doors actually green, or is it my goggles?
The door is actually green. The goggles make them they're the same on and off. Everything else gets green around it. When you take them off, the door stays the same shade. You see them kind of seemingly uttering to no one under their breath. And there's a small puff of this kind of almost like golden glitter just kind of fizzles into the air. And they just kind of a curt smile and they just kind of stand there. It's an awkward 2 minutes.
That was eco-friendly glitter messaging.
And then before too long, you hear footsteps coming from across the court. So you can hear kind of hurried footsteps echoing behind you. And as you spin around, you see the same priest who approached you earlier. The one who told you that this happened before, and the one who came to investigate the previous incident in the courtyard.
You there?
Yes, Fembris, you call what is it? The seekers wanted to speak to you regarding the incident in the courtyard. They didn't have any formal permission to enter the inner sanctum, so I thought best to contact you and for you to see to their inquiries. And he looks over to you guys. I said we're dealing with what is it? You haven't been attacked by another book, have you?
No, but we think we have information. You might already have this information, but we wanted to make sure that at least 2 of the books that have attacked people are from the same place in Baldur's Gate, a market stall. They were sold to the people that used them to gain seekership. They were sold by the same person.
Oh, this is troubling. If they're coming from the same source, it stands to reason.
Can you tell us again who it is that had procured the book that attacked my group?
Let me check my records, and he whips out the golden little notebook once more, and it filters through.
I liked Rob's little role play with himself when he had 2 NPCs that were having a conversation with each
That's not role play. That's just my actual, failing mental health.
Tripping.
It says here a gentleman named Rashad dropped the book off here and stayed for 2 days, and they're no longer staying at the moment. They left a few days prior.
It's likely that that book came from the same place. We obviously don't know for sure if the person is no longer here to ask, but the other 2 definitely came from a market stall in Baldur's Gate. The same person.
Well, I do find this information. I don't even know which NPC I am anymore. Just blown my own mind. I don't even. I'll try that again.
The road guy.
Well, it's troubling. There's not a lot we can do. We only have jurisdiction here at the library. Baldur's Gate's a law unto itself, and it's a good 4 or 5 days travel.
Sorry, stop. We've just been raided by a party of 21.
Hello, component.
Oh, thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Component Cast Live. Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Welcome, everyone, to the tavern. Please drop us a follow if you like what we're up to. We're just in the middle of our Candlekeep Mysteries campaign. Stick around, see what you think. Enjoy.
Also, the
Carry
camera's
on.
down, so I am trying to shout out everything, but I can't. I'm very sorry.
It is troubling. If what you say is true and these come from the same place, maybe there's an agreement we can come to. You take a
that
walk.
depends.
Take a walk with me. Follow me.
And she'll motion to him. Can you tell me one thing, Mel?
What's that?
How are you dealing with those who have brought these books in that you consider fakes?
I don't make the decisions myself, you see. It's one of the first reader. The first time it happened, we just thought it was someone trying to get free access. And, book turned out to be fake, and they came to an agreement they'd work off the debt. But it seems
And the rest?
The other one, we didn't realise until now that it's a reoccurring problem.
So how about you give some slack to the person that you are?
It's not my
now
decision,
forcing
all right?
to do
Look,
some manual labor.
I'm just one of the priests here. It's the first reader makes those
What's the
decisions.
strings?
I don't have strings to pull. I'm just doing my job.
Then point me in the right direction if you may, please. She'll ask very nicely.
The first reader's not going to talk to a bunch of seekers who've been here a week. It takes months to grant an audience, all right? I can do what I can do. I can try, but it's well above my station to be questioning that sort of decision. What I can do,
I'm going to turn to Sahara. Sorry. I'm going to turn to Sahara and say, yeah, although it's unjust that tiefling is having to work off debt, there's something more prominent that we have to deal with, and that is the very real possibility that these books might kill someone. So although it's unjust, and I definitely agree that they shouldn't have to work off their debt now that we know it's not their fault, I think we need to sort out what arrangement we're going to come to stop more people getting hurt, and then put that on the back burner. We've made it aware that he knows now that it's unjust, and hopefully he can, like you say, pull some strings to get that sorted for the tiefling.
Sarah's gonna nod like fine, but nope. In the back of her head, she's already turning cogs.
What agreement do you suggest for us to help you and to stop this infiltration of naughty books?
I know you folk with the Alliance, right? You get your hands dirty for work. It's not your first rodeo, as it were.
Wear gloves.
That's true.
Our jurisdiction ends at the end of the road, all right? Anything outside, our agreement with the Lord's Alliance and the cities that we police ourselves, and we're not bothered, and we're kept secure under our own devices. We have no sway over the city. I don't think that extends to you, and if you wanted to put our minds at ease and maybe try and find out why these books are coming here and what's the cause of this, I can potentially make it worth your while. We've got some old artifacts that may prove useful to you.
For artifacts,
That sounds good.
Anything
Look,
like
I can't promise.
I
I can't promise a lot, and we don't have any coin. Would go noticed too easy, but I've got some old artifacts, some old research material that's still pretty potent, and they probably fetch you a
that'll
price
do.
if you wanted to sell them on. It's the best I can offer, I'm afraid.
As a temporary measure, you stop allowing new seekers to join the library, informing them that because of a problem that you've been having with fake books that you aren't able to identify yet, you stop allowing new seekers as a temporary measure into the library until we have this sorted. Otherwise, you could just have more coming in.
I appreciate your concern, I do, and I wish I could make. It's not my choice. It's the readers. The first reader makes the decisions. He speaks to the gatekeeper, and they determine. I can't stop people coming or going. They're talking
I'm not
behind.
suggesting that you.
They're talking behind the scenes. They're putting things in place. We've got some of the best security this side of Faerun. I'm sure they'll stop things getting through now they're aware of what's happening. But there's nothing else I can do here. I can report in, that's it. I don't make the choices.
Well, you do that. These artifacts, do we get them before we go?
You've been here a week.
Well, they're coming back. Deoni's still up there studying.
I can't offer you anything until the deed's done. Look, I'm not asking you raid Baldur's Gate and start kicking doors down. Just a little bit of questioning. Let's get to the bottom of this without bloodshed. Just find out. Maybe a misunderstanding. Who knows? It's other people.
Misunderstanding of books coming in to attack your people. Come now.
If these creatures can hide past our wards and seals, who knows who else they fooled? The store itself may not even realise. Who's to know? Look, if I'm to ask you to go out there and have a look for us, I sleep easy knowing you're going to do it with an element of caution and not leave a trail of bodies behind you.
My middle name is Caution.
Make a deception check.
Shit.
Because I can. Is that not one?
Yeah, didn't you? You really had to. I can't even help this one. I'm just gonna like turn around and be like,
Is it really though?
Well, it's not what my parents called me.
Okay. Look. You head out there and have a look for me.
I'm willing if these guys are.
Because I can, if you come back with some information and let us know what's going on out there, and if you can put a stop to it without violence, then please do. We don't want. It's not just the light.
same way if you can make an effort to put a stop to people being punished for bringing in stuff that they don't know that's wrong, and find a way, if you may.
I can try.
Please
right?
unpunish that tiefling.
I can try. I'll see what.
Try harder.
I'll do my best.
And put in a good word for me.
Like any work you do towards the Seekers have been here for years without being granted entry, without being granted seniority. If you keep working doing favours, it's going to not go unnoticed. Favours are earned here through dedication and loyalty, and this will go a fair way towards that, I'm sure.
I think we should go. I wouldn't mind a day shopping in Baldur's Gate anyway.
Yeah, we need to go. That, we never know when the next book's gonna pop up. It could be.
We can keep the library safe. I'm not concerned about the people here. We can adjust the walls to detect this sort of intrusion and make the gatekeepers aware. It's who's to say this isn't happening further? If this shop is the source, they're not just selling to us. They're not just selling to people who come here. People will be having these books in their homes, in their libraries, in places of study across all of the Sword Coast. It's at least make them aware if they're not already.
We'll figure it out. You just do your part here, and as she begins to walk away, and she'll yell back, and make sure that tiefling is off those rafters by tomorrow.
I said I'd do my best, alright? Look, I'm trying here.
She just waves at him as she walks towards the tavern, because she needs a snack.
Look, alright, I'll do what I can. Like I say, my station's not huge here. I have a little say, but it'll be difficult, but I'll do what I can.
That's fine.
And in turn, we'll do what we can and find out what we can, without bloodshed, hopefully. But if we need to defend ourselves, we will. If we encounter more of these books that turn into these horrible beings, then there will be bloodshed, but it will only be to protect ourselves. So we'll let you know what we find, and hopefully we'll be back.
All right.
And I'm going to follow Sahar.
Travel safe, okay? He dips his head and heads off back towards the gatehouse.
I'm not walking any particularly fast pace. I'm just like slowly walking, just waiting for everybody to catch him. I just wanted to make a point to the young gentleman.
What time of day is it, Rob?
At this point, you're probably looking at a little bit afternoon.
Food?
Early afternoon.
And how long
Like
do
snack.
we know would be to Baldur's Gate?
About 4 days, 4 to 5 days, depending on how much pace you make.
Might as
It's the
well,
same journey you guys made about a 10-day ago now on your original trip from Lord's Alliance, offering you the contract to contact Matreus back in Baldur's Gate. It took you 5 days at a leisurely pace down the coast road.
Do we
Okay.
set off
Just
today?
gonna say- I'm going to save food and then we go, because it's a long journey.
Okay. If you want to go get food orders, I'm going to run up to the Deoni's room and at least let them know if
That's
they want
cool.
to come or
I'll
catch up.
Yeah, I'll
Anything
get you some
to
food
catch up.
and we can eat and then we can go.
Cool.
Irini,
Just head towards the hearth.
where was it that you taught them new recipes? At this place that we've been to, yes?
The place that we first went,
And you
where
think they'll do
we're
good?
staying to. Sorry?
Do you think they did good following your orders?
They were okay. Obviously, it's not
Recommend
as
the
good as
pie
my own food, but it's food. I could cook for us if
But-
you want.
How about I take your recommendation of what they might have, made decent enough for your skills or taste palette?
As I run off, I'm going to run back to him, take the alchemy jug out, say, red wine, and hand it over.
Ooh,
Save
to
some
me?
for me. Yep. There's enough there for all of us. Do not drink it all. I'll be back in a
How
minute.
big's this jug?
There will be a gallon of red wine.
Great, okay. Like a gallon of red wine it is. Like a milk jug.
The joys of an alchemical flask.
We'll take that, but like,
Wine. Yep,
All right,
one
then.
gallon of wine. And I'm going to run up to Deoni's room.
Okay.
I'm
you know
gonna
what?
go with
What'll be the
Sahar.
day?
Gonna go with Sahar into the place that we're gonna eat, whichever one we're going to.
Sahar's like leading the way, holding this jug of red wine, thinking a lot, going, it'll be the day, the stars from the sky when they actually manage to duplicate this wine over and over again. And over again. Thinking of Mal's abilities. Just keep on copying. I will waltz in, stroll into the tavern, look around for a comfortable spot, and see if Mal's... Was it the tiefling that was working behind the bar before?
The
Is there?
tiefling is not, but the halfling you spoke to earlier is.
Just nod at them and find a spot for us and wait for them to come down.
So, sorry, who's doing what? So, Mal, you're heading up to Deoni's room.
Yep.
And Sahar, Igraine, and Irini, what are you planning on? Are you just wanting to get food, or are you looking to question the barkeep?
Getting food for Mal and for everyone, and then eating and
Questions.
heading out. I think.
Okay.
Nonchalantly ask questions of those around
So
to
it's,
see who I can pick up talking about random stuff.
Still fairly quiet. I mean, you're granted entry back into the hearth because of your connections with the staff there and your 2 part-time 0 contract hour workers you have with you. Or one of you. Mal, you head up and you're directed through a few questions of where's the large black-looking armoured one, where were they? And you are directed to one of the rooms in the Pillars of Pedagogy of Study. And you do find one of the private study rooms seemingly in use.
Knock on the door.
You knock, but there is no sound. Your hand hits wood, but there's no echo, there's no sound.
Damn, I forgot about that. I'm going to open the door and stick my head in and see if I see them.
And you do. You see Deoni buried in various texts and scrolls and books and journals, and kind of over your shoulder, like not even looking around, like there's an awkward few seconds, and then they realise that you can't hear. They turn around and sort of silently mouth, and you assume they're asking, what do you want?
So, if I try and talk, can I hear my voice?
You cannot hear your voice.
Damn. I'm going to walk into the room and try and talk again.
Can't hear anything.
Still nothing. Damn. Is this some parchment?
There is these scatterings of parchment and torn out journal pages, and this looks like the hand in day of dissertation looking room.
I'm going to grab the blankest piece of parchment I can see and hope Deoni doesn't hit me. Take a pen and okay.
Kind of shrugs and half nods.
Yep. Write down. We got attacked by a book. It seems to be a pandemic of attacking books. We're going to Baldur's Gate. You're welcome to come. We'll be in the bar seating or catch up with us later. And I'm just going to pass it over.
It's kind of a raised eyebrow and kind of looks over the top of the note at you. It's like, what, like the quite like puzzled look of what?
Yeah. And Yep.
There's a nod.
Your face going, what?
There's a half nod of agreement of like acceptance behind like a puzzled expression if they start reading the note again.
I'm going to write another quick one. Baldur's Gate, the Wide. We're setting off today. Finish your study, join us. Just pass that over and wave bye.
There's a bit more of a confirming nod, and again, a little bit of a puzzled half eyebrow raise, but seems to be an understanding.
Yeah, I'm just going to awkwardly wave and do the half stepping kind of look. So,
before too long, you do find yourself back at the hearth, where the small halfling barkeep from earlier heads over.
What's a halfling's name? Do I know?
You will. Give me a moment. It was. It was Giselle.
Giselle.
Giselle. Yeselle. Giselle.
Hi, Giselle.
Well, you're back. I thought you said you weren't working today.
Not working. We've been asked to go to Baldur's Gate for some weird stuff.
Oh, okay. It's nice to get some fresh air outside of these walls, I guess.
Yeah. If you tell Ark, I might be gone for longer than planned.
I'm sure he'll understand. It's not like you're a prisoner here. You know, you work when you can. You've been a great help so far. I'll be glad to have you back when you return.
Aye. I'll come up with a name for that drink as well.
Yes.
We'll figure some out.
Sold loads last night. It's going down a treat.
Awesome.
Just need a more catching name than the big orange vase drink.
Yeah. Are we still putting it in vases?
Yeah, I mean, what else do we put them in?
I don't know. Is there any glass blowers on site?
No, not I'm aware. I mean, we may be able to get some in, I guess. We'll see what the budget says, but...
Yeah, I think it'd look quite nice in a big round bowl.
It's not a bad idea. I'll run it past Ark and see if you can get hold of anything.
Yeah. We'll join the others.
The kitchen's just about opening up. Are you stopping for lunch or are you heading straight out?
Yeah, sorry, I thought that was to all of us. Carry on.
Yeah, have they ordered food? My friends, Irina, is she in the kitchen? Is she letting others cook?
I've not really had the chat. What is it you're wanting to do?
We're just after some food before we head out.
Yeah, we can put something together.
Yeah, just not too heavy. We've got to head towards Baldur's Gate. So, yep.
Been working on a new recipe based off the some of the lotus petals Ernie left for us. We've made it into this.
You hear me yell out, pie!
Yeah, go for it. But whatever you make, downplay it when you bring it to the table. Say it's not as good as Irina's, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Make a persuasion check.
Why?
2.
Sure.
Really?
Yeah, 2.
We'll get it right over to you. Just set tight, man. Won't be too long.
No worries. Yep, run over. Is there any wine left?
There will be blood soon. And she just pushes the wine forward because she hasn't touched it.
And after about...
But she heard the conversation and was just like,
You smell quite a potent... It's a very odd fragrance that drifts across the room. You can't quite place it. Irene, you recognize it as Crimson Lotus Petals, which is a herb or a flowering plant that is often used as a herb within the Feywild. That is something you have brought to them in small quantities, and it is often ground up and used as these kind of brownish reddish flakes that you're well aware is quite a delicacy within the Feywild. And before too long, 5 plates of this kind of mixed vegetarian style salad is brought out. It's kind of mixed leaves. You've got all sorts of different colours of peppers, basically a mixed salad with then this large, almost. They're so thin you can almost see through them. There's like absolutely razor thin, kind of these brown flakes all over, and kind of it gives this aroma that you can't quite place. It's almost sour, but not quite. It doesn't really line up with any pre-existing concepts that you've got.
It looks nice. It's not quite Irini's, obviously, but it looks good.
It's definitely not like mine.
So
Well,
how the years are just going to
It's
go
a bit of an
little
experimental
back.
one, I'll be honest. These petals have gone down a treat, and we think it'll go well with these. So tuck in, tell us what you think, or if it's bad, then maybe don't.
Or if it's bad, I'll just teach you how to make it better. Okay.
That,
Like I grew up with this shit.
that'd be
Okay.
good.
I'm gonna tuck in and drink some wine and then slide it back across.
Nom nom.
Okay.
I'm going to look at
Yeah,
the plates.
it's weird. As you're eating it, these kind of red flakes, they almost like stick to your tongue and then melt. It's almost like rice paper, and they leave a really odd, changing aftertaste. Goes surprisingly well with kind of the peppery leaves and kind of some of the sweetness of the peppers, and it kind of gives this like almost sourish aftertaste that then gives way to a sweetness that comes through. It's odd. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just different.
I'm patiently waiting for pie. I won't touch salad.
Can we have
Unless
the main
Irene makes
course
it.
And yeah, before too long, there is pie that you had pretty much all week, I'm assuming. And there is a
Meat.
Pine nuts.
pie is brought over for Celine. Again! Oh no!
I mean, rub it
You
in.
lost the
Rub it in
cameras again.
Oh,
Rub it in.
God, the ghost
Can
of
we have a
Celine as well.
counter,
Now.
please?
Sahar pie is brought over for Sahar and is as great as you've had all week.
For those that might not have seen our Frost Maiden stream, Celine did unfortunately just kick the bucket in another stream that we do on a different channel, and Rob keeps calling Angie by that character name because it begins with an S.
And I'm a simple creature.
And Rob can't cope with
I'll make
names
this into a
that
Halo
sound-
at some stage in my head.
Imagine only having to play one character. Wow. The tribulations and trials that must be. The horror.
We'll catch you off
Imagine
stream.
just playing D&D. Oh.
R.I.P. Celine, but this campaign is
Can we get an
Sahar.
F in chat?
Yeah, can we have an F in chat for Celine and Adri from Frost Maiden, please?
We're getting it. Right, moving on. Yeah, the food is presented. These kind of waits and this back and forth with Giselle drifts over to the afternoon. We start getting towards, you know, the sun is hanging lower in the sky, and we're starting to, a few more patrons pop in, and kind of the bar is starting to kind of make that transition from doing lunch service and starts preparing for the evening. What is the plan of the party?
We're
Gonna
off to
dig
the
into
Baldur's
this.
Gate.
Listen to people. Anybody else in this time come inside?
Say again?
Anybody else waltz inside? Has the place become a little more full?
Yeah, there's a few more people that have come in.
Great. I'm going to eavesdrop on them while I eat my pie. Because I
Okay.
can.
So, two groups of
I
interest.
want to hear.
Two groups
Yeah.
of interest come in. First, it's a pair of dwarvish individuals that come in and are discussing rather loudly the best angle to put into a pickaxe when sharpening it and putting the bevel on for best way of mining silver. And one is very impassioned about it needing a certain bevel, and the other one is saying, no, what you want is a separate pick, and then hammer the back of it. And they go back and forth. It's jovial, a little bit of ribbing about, you know, you hear that's why you never get anything, and that's why you only find copper. But they seem in good spirits, even though it is quite a heated argument. The second party is the ogre that you came across a few days ago in here, who takes the same table they did and pulls out a couple of stacks of books, opens the first one, and quietly starts reading through.
I'm going to call over to the barkeep
Mm-hmm.
and ask them to kindly ask the ogre what they would like to drink. Whether it be tea or anything.
You go to the ogre or to the barkeep?
To the barkeep. And tell the barkeep to go ask the ogre because, after all, I am royalty, so I'm not doing it on my own. So I asked the barkeep,
Yes.
would you mind?
Giselle kind of hops off the...
Nobody knows that, but
Giselle,
I'm going to pull
Giselle,
my strings there.
Giselle hops off the chair and heads over to the ogre, and you can see her talking, and the ogre nods, and you can see there's a brief discourse, and Giselle heads back. Says anything's fine, but if ale's going, you wouldn't turn it down.
Anything's fine with me.
Okay.
Wouldn't ale. Would you mind asking them, is there anything interesting that they're reading? I'm curious.
Talk to myself. Little one's friendly enough.
All right.
You take this over to him as well, and pops the ale on the counter.
I'll take the ale and everything, and I'll turn to the ogre and see if they're looking my direction. If they are, I'll pick up the ale.
They kind of are
And ask
looking.
if I can kind of like come over.
There's a bit of a curious look over the top of a fairly heavy book, and kind of looking at this fairly exotically dressed elven creature heading over.
May I?
Please.
Put down the ale, my own drink in front of me. I
And
saw you here for quite a bit now. What are you reading?
I'm currently reading this one, Storm King's Thunder by Scryer's Frink.
Interesting.
Follows
Anything a little darker
the
there by any chance?
say what?
Anything a little darker by any chance?
I'm afraid not, sir. This is an adventure book. It's my favourite, you see. This book follows the exploits of a band of adventurers searching for a storm giant king named Hecaton.
Interesting. Have I heard of this book before, Ram?
Make a history check.
Sure.
I've played
where
that
are my
campaign.
dice?
It's really fuck.
What?
I've played that it's a campaign
Oh.
of Wizards of the Coast. It's just triggered me to fuck.
History check, you said?
Yes, please.
That's a lovely natural 20 plus 2.
Ooh, you are
22.
very aware. When you
Sweet.
first descended upon these lands, you were aware of the recent fallout that there was a disappearance of a storm giant king named Hecaton, and whose disappearance caused a great upheaval up and down the Sword Coast some years ago, and was brought to a resolution by a group of now semi-famous adventurers.
Fabulous. I'll have like a chit chat with the ogre about it and everything for a little while. And
A few things you do notice while having this conversation with the ogre. They do introduce themselves as Little One, and they seem to have a very, very delicately woven, expensive-looking platinum headband. Almost like a circlet.
does that represent some kind of royalty?
What, this thing? No, this I came...
Family heirloom?
Something like that. I came across it several years ago, and let's just say it put me on a different path and changed my outlook on things somewhat.
That's good. So then definitely hold on to it. Nobody's ever tried to take it away from you?
Not since I've arrived here, no. A few
good.
bandit types tried to take it from me on the road, and they soon learned the folly of their actions.
And you would say it brings you luck, maybe?
Brings me a few things, yes. Like I say, allowed me to turn over a new leaf, as it were.
That's good to know. You see, I came asking about your books because my book, unfortunately, quite literally tried to kill me the other day. I'm quite upset about the
Did
information
hear
that I
the
lost from it.
rumours about such things. I'd like to think if a book tried to kill me, I'd just tear it in half and throw it over the wall. Maybe you could try something similar if such a thing was to happen once again.
Well, unfortunately, when a book changes its predisposition and shape to something that's 10 times its size and not seemingly a book anymore, it becomes, well, quite dangerous. If you come across anything like that, be very careful and mind yourself.
You smaller type should take more care with these things. Maybe try and make yourself look bigger and more intimidating to creatures, and you may be left alone, it does me some good.
Rob, can you tell me how big ogres are in D&D?
Yes. Big.
Large.
Let me just get an actual height for you.
I'm trying to figure out, like, in Warcraft terms, like, how big
they're up there. Like, not... Let me double check.
So I'm, like, tiny little thing next to him.
This ogre, little one, ironically, stands at about 9'8".
Fabulous. Yeah.
And probably weighs the better part of 600-700 pounds easily.
Yeah.
Makes the grain look tiny.
It's like this mottled, kind of greyish, almost desaturated skin tone. These small kind of swept back ears, very small, almost pinprick eyes, and a small nose, a very wide set jaw. And you can see the top row of teeth are kind of normal, and the bottom is like almost a second row of these jagged tusks that two of them protrude across the bottom jaw.
I'm like, well, I know you can definitely take care of yourself. We did dispatch one of these books, but unfortunately I lost information. I was planning to get some of that info just to keep on the road for myself, but that's why I was asking you before if you were reading anything a little more about the void.
Information's not really my thing.
More adventurous type?
Yeah, but believe it or not, this whole reading thing is quite a new discovery. It's not something my kind traditionally partake in, as our kind tend to not share my love of literature, and haven't taken the same steps as I haven't fallen on as good a fortune, shall we say. So I just get swept up in these adventuring books and love to see what happens next.
Tell me, when's the last time you were in Baldur's Gate?
There's an incident near there a few years ago. I've not been back since, I'm afraid. Dare say the guard there wouldn't take too kindly to me returning.
Understandable. Well, if you'd like to join our group, you're more than welcome to. I'm sure they would love to hear your tales that you're reading about.
I see you in here a few nights. I'm sure there's a time when you're not under... I'm not as busy.
Tomorrow.
Or we've got more time. We can share a drink and tell some tales if the rest of your party aren't too put off by my parents.
They are not, trust me. We have somebody similar stature to yourself, but not as eloquent, let's say.
If you mean the Goliath over there, I've seen bigger, I'll be honest.
Oh no, the Goliath, she's wonderful. It's somebody else. It's not here at the moment.
I'm sure no matter how big they are, I'm sure they've got great stories to tell. I'd love to hear them. The more adventurous, and you have to tell me about your adventures on to Baldur's Gate. Let me know all the exciting
when we're back,
things that'll happen.
I'll be sure to let you know.
So, sounds good.
And she'll sleep with him for a few more minutes and everything, just kind of chit-chat, and then she'll go back to the group and bid them a fair night.
And this hulking great behemoth of a creature with oddly well-spoken reading a book kind of is odd in your mind's eye, but you continue the conversation nonetheless. And the conversation draws to a close, and you return back to your table.
Have you finished your pie, Sahar? Are we going to Baldur's Gate today?
I'm assuming that pie was inhaled like an hour ago.
Yes. Quite abruptly so.
Pie is not left on this
Very
table.
fast metabolism.
You left
Must
a bit of
eat
crust.
much meat.
You left a bit of crust. That's best bit.
She'll
We
take
need to
the
get
crust
going,
like
guys.
you want it.
It's a long
I'll have it.
journey.
Munch on it. Alrighty, Grain, let's go.
All right.
do have a long
The
journey in the morning.
evening air is drawing dark through the windows of the hearth. You can see the first signs of moonlight starting to filter through the kind of sparse clouds that have drifted over the blue skies of the day. And you can see now that the patronage of the bar is starting to get a little bit more livelier. A few of the earlier revelers are starting to look a little bit more boisterous and loud as the evening takes a little bit more of a swing.
It's getting dark. I thought we were going today. Are we going tomorrow?
We're going today. It was just it was early afternoon a minute ago. I didn't realise we'd been sat for hours.
You went and chatted to the gatekeeper, and then you've been in here, you had a chat with the bar staff, you've waited for food to be prepared, you've then waited for pie to be cooked, and you've had a conversation, sat down for the last hour watching Sahar having a conversation with an ogre.
That's cool. It was early
It's
afternoon.
not
before
middle
we
of the
walked, I think.
night. It's like, 6, 7 p.m. sort of time.
Yeah, we need to get going. We can't put this off.
A couple of hours
So-
travel.
Time flies when you're chatting to giant 8-foot ogres, 9-foot ogres.
So we're not
in the morning.
sleeping.
We'll grab Deoni.
Well,
Oh,
we
we'll
will
grab Deoni
sleep,
in the
we'll just
morning. We need some
sleep on the
stuff
road.
for the road. Stuff for the
Okay.
We can sleep. We can sleep on the road. We can sleep the next town over, but we need to get going tonight.
All right.
Upon hearing this, Irene casts Cure Wounds on herself. Because she's still pretty ouch.
You see the flash of fey energy kind of spiral around, and you see there's no physical marks where the creature kind of brushed against, but you feel, Irini, that kind of that sense of lethargy and that kind of weird feeling in your gut leave as you feel more embiggened.
I'm guessing the 4 hours that we were. I'm guessing, was it 4 hours that we were sitting here?
Something like that. Time's weird when you're DMing.
Yeah. If it was 4 hours that
So
we were
if it's
chit chatting in the bar, then I would have had my short rest. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say for the purpose of you guys sitting in the bar and having chats, I would consider that a short rest, yeah, for sure.
Bam. There goes my 4 HP back.
It's about 6 o'clock. We can get like a good.
If you want that 4 HP back,
Five
you're
hours.
rolling a hit dice to recover it.
Am I?
Yeah, so on a short rest, at level 2, you have 2 hit dice that are 1d8s. And you can roll one or both of them during a short rest to heal that much, and they recover on a long rest.
Cool. Okay.
We can get a good few hours traveling in before we stop. We might find a village to stop at on the way, but I'd feel better about setting off than sitting here drinking for an evening when there are books that are killing people.
Almost killing people.
Do we need
Might
anything
in the
before we head off on the
future.
road? Do we need anything?
I've got my stuff. I travel light. I should be okay, I
Not-
think.
It wouldn't take you too long. You're literally next door to the inn that you're staying in. It wouldn't take particularly a long time just to quickly dash in and grab in your kits or your packs or whatever it would need that you would be traveling.
And we haven't used anything over here, so everything is still pretty much good to go for the road. So we can just grab Deoni.
Deoni's going to stay. She's finishing up some studying and she's going to catch up.
She'll probably catch us up in the morning or something. I'm sure we might wake up to find her delightful face looming over us.
Yes. Delightful.
Gonna go, as we're grabbing our stuff, I will go up to her room and knock inside and do the whole messaging system, since we can't talk, and tell her this is the plan and this is what we're doing and this is the exact time when we're leaving. If she wants to come now.
You're
or
pretty
something.
her routine has been working sort of to the mid-evening and then sort of meeting up with you in the evenings for food and drinks and then kind of hanging out in the evenings. So you don't suspect to be too long before they come down and connect with you guys and catch up for the day.
Sounds good. Off we go then.
Get our stuff together and head out.
She'll grab her shawls and just wrap her hair. Her inconspicuous self so nobody notices her on the road, and off we go.
Okay, so are you guys heading off this evening or heading off in the morning? Are you planning on resting or are you wanting to head out immediately?
That's fine. We are leaving right this second.
Okay, so you gather your belongings, you leave word at the tavern for Deoni and let them know that you're heading out. And not 5-10 minutes later, you find yourselves back on the Lion's Way, the long, kind of precarious mounting road that drifts out on the precipice where the keep is held. And you find yourselves back on the coastal road heading northward towards Baldur's Gate. With the moon at your back and the night starry sky above you and the sounds of the waves distant below off the cliffs, and the long stretching meadows, fields, agriculture, and the occasional farmhouse scattered in front of you, the long travel to Baldur's Gate begins. And that is where we will wrap up tonight's session. So thank you very much to all of our lovely, lovely community members who have stuck with us and checked out tonight's episode. Short Rest Tavern, episode 4, Mazfroth's Mighty Digressions, part 1. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bad Rongo. Welcome aboard. And Dragonzo505 and everyone else who has followed. Thank you very much for your support. It's fantastic.
Thanks for the
couple
raid.
of quick thanks.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for the raid and checking out what we're up to. It does mean a lot. We love sharing our stories with communities and growing our community and sharing the improv storytelling love. So thank you very much for that. Just want to throw out a couple of quick thank yous, a couple of quick shout outs, a little bit of a schedule update, what to check out. Firstly, if you haven't already, please just click that follow button. It means a lot to us. It helps us reach a wider audience and share our stories with the wider world out there. If you have any friends, families, people you play games with, communities that you're part of that you think may be interested in what we're up to, share the love. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Our social media links are below. Spread the love. Again, it helps us out. Any support we get, whether that's social, financial, emotional, spiritual, existential, all goes back into the channel 100%, where we help to try and increase production quality, help support the channel's ongoing costs, and helps us to do more and do more shows and produce better and more content for our community.
We're hoping that we should hit affiliate by next month.
Yeah, so we should be able to offer bits
crossed.
and all the emotes and all the other fun stuff. Our YouTube channel will be getting updated very soon, so we'll have the first 3 episodes of Candlekeep Mysteries, The Joy of Extra Dimensional Spaces. That will all be going up on YouTube. We are going to be continuing our weekly giveaways, so if you missed us today on our break, join us next Monday at 7:30, where on our break around 9 p.m, we're going to be doing our weekly giveaway of a copy of Candlekeep Mysteries, digital copy through D&D Beyond. So big thank you to the help and support from our friends at D&D Beyond. We use Sirenscape's beta access online player, which allows a DM to set up a digital soundscape, which is then broadcast to all the players in real time. Very, very, very cool. Allows us to get that in-room ambience over Zoom and share again with the Twitch viewers, and hopefully adds a little bit more to the game. And as always, thank you very much to the players who not only play in this game, they also do a lot of work behind the scenes, helping flesh out the extended worlds for some of the other campaigns with their inventive and interesting character designs, and all the help on social media, Twitch, Twitter, all the other social media that I don't fully understand, and all fixing
that goes down midstream and you have to try and fix it.
Fixing my admin mistakes probably is 50% of what they do. So big thank you to you guys for helping me out. Like I say, we'll be back next Monday at 7:30 UK time for episode 4, which will be Mazfroth's Mighty Digressions part 2. At the end of Mazfroth's Mighty Digression, we will be running episode 2 of Pull Up a Chair, which is our Thursday review show where I sit down with 2 members of the party and we have a chat about the previous arc, have a little bit of chat out of character about what they thought, how we think the campaign's going, maybe get some of their speculations about where we're going next, and we answer some Q&A from the community as well, and a little bit more of a talkie show approach. And then finally, last Sunday of the month, is going to be the debut of our web show, our talk show, Beards and Brews, where I'm joined by Heavy from Heavyweight Gaming, where me and him will sit down and discuss all things DMing. This first episode is going to be around what it's like DMing on Twitch, DMing in front of an audience, and any adjustments and what we've found over the past year DMing on Heavyweight Gaming, and the start of Short Rest Tavern. Finally, if you like our party here, I'm DMing at Heavyweight Gaming every Friday with Rhyme of the Frost Maiden, Icewind Dale, with this party where we say bye-bye to Deoni, and we bring in Gentle Steps, the Goliath Rogue, played by Adi. And yeah, we're on episode 17 of that campaign. That's every Friday, 8 PM at Heavyweight Gaming. And that, I think, brings us up to the end of tonight's episode. So again, very thank you to the raid guys. Really appreciate the support. Love the fact that we're getting bigger and bigger each week and we can share these stories with a wider audience. So Thank you very much for watching Short Rest Tavern, where we share stories, tell tales, and explore adventures through Dungeons and Dragons. And we'll be back next week.
But before we leave, we're going to raid someone.
Ooh, okay. Who are we raiding?
Because I have found someone on Twitch called Heretical Heroes.
Can you spell that in chat for me so I don't make the mistake I made a few weeks ago?
No, because I am going to raid, so you don't even have to worry about it, because I've got everything all queued up and ready.
Cool. So we're going to go raid a channel, guys.
They look like a fantastic group. They are currently doing endeavors in Eberron. Part 30, so they are like well in it at this point. So go when we head over there. Don't forget to scream greetings travelers and give them lots of love. We will see you all next week and we'll raid again. If anyone has people that they do want us to raid or they think that would really appreciate it, please let us know. We love raiding people. But yeah, thanks. Are we ready to raid?
Ready.
Yes.
Bye.
Fantastic. We should be raiding any moment now. Oh, 11 viewers. Yes, let's go. Let's do this.
Take care, guys. Enjoy the raid, and we'll
We got
see you next
60
week.
Raiders, yes.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. You raided?
Yeah, we're in.
Party of 16. Good stuff.